chance in hell that this is funny or gonna work. And when you see those flat, corny, late night monologue jokes with no audience, Colbert, there's Jimmy Kimmel, there's Fallon. What they're doing is just like reading off of a teleprompter. So a bunch of really good joke writers wrote them some stuff, and then they're playing to the audience, and the audience is like laughing, so they get this feedback, and they know how to do that. They stand there, and there's applause signs. And then there's producers. There's the warm-up guy that's literally telling people to applaud. They're like, okay, explain to the people. Okay, when Jimmy comes out, I want a big round of applause. Let's practice this right now.
Jimmy Kimmel's a loser. I do Jimmy Kimmel. I did him a lot. Yeah. And he'd be standing on the sidewalk. Oh, sir, may I bring you in? He'd bring me in every time. The whole show is talking bad about Trump.
He called us doofuses when we had you on.
He's a group of doofuses in flat-brimmed hats.
Guess what? We
Ask him how many.
What he did.
Ask him. Yeah, you do bigger. Yeah, you do. His show's done.
Jimmy Kimmel's late night shtick isn't just bombing. It's a full-on disaster flick, and he's the lead nobody roots for. When Donald Trump and Joe Rogan tag team to roast him, it's not comedy, it's carnage. Kimmel's smug grin, once his trademark, now looks like a desperate plea to stay relevant. Trump swings in with political sledgehammers, calling Kimmel a talentless hack who's tanking late-night TV. Rogan follows with MMA-style precision, shredding Kimmel's fake moral high ground. Together, they turn Kimmel into a punching bag.
Do you think the hate Trump business model that's been in the entertainment business is going out of business with the American people?
Well, it hasn't worked, and it hasn't worked really for a long time, and I would say pretty much from the beginning. Colbert has no talent. I mean, I could take anybody here, I could go outside in the beautiful streets and pick up a couple of people that do just as well or better. They get higher ratings than he did. He's got no talent. Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going. I don't know, but I would imagine because they get, you know, Colbert has better ratings than Kimmel or Fallon. You know that.
Exposing his corny monologues and crumbling ratings as Hollywood's sad attempt at relevance. Kimmel's show is dying, and it's not hard to see why. His jokes, read off a teleprompter like a robot, land flatter than a pancake. The audience? Trained to clap like circus seals, thanks to warm-up guys and applause signs. It's not comedy, it's a scripted charade. Trump nails it. Kimmel's got no talent. Pick anyone off the street and they'd outshine him. Ratings prove it. Kimmel's numbers are sinking fast.
Because the guy was so polarizing.
Boy, wouldn't it be fun to put Donald Trump in that hot seat, see how much that genius really knows?
And because he was such an easy guy to turn into a Nazi.
What would you say to him if you could get this thing?
I would say, please, have a seat. You know what? Any time you spend on a game show is another hour you're not being president.
You pointed to him, you're like, oh, the way he talks, he's gonna ruin the world.
Can't tackle Donald Trump. He is the most important, the smartest, the most capable leader in the world, and he's not gonna let someone push him around.
The threat to democracy, we could do anything we can to stop him. So what do? They stop all the primaries.
Trump, as has now been well established, is the greatest negotiator, the greatest deal maker, the greatest diplomat, and the greatest peacemaker that we have ever seen in this country.
They don't have real primaries anymore. They haven't had a real primary since 2012.
I do believe that it will be Donald Trump and Elon Musk who were reflected as two of the saviors of this country and really of the entire world.
They're rigged.
Faster than a bad stock in 2008. A 2025 Nielsen report shows his viewership down 30% from 5 years ago. Meanwhile, Fox's Greg Gutfeld is eating his lunch. Trump's not subtle. He calls Kimmel a loser, who's destroying late-night TV with his predictable anti-Trump rants. Remember the Oscars? Kimmel read Trump's scathing review of his hosting gig live on air, thinking it'd score points.
This was late-night television. Nobody anymore.
I know.
And it's slowly, you have a bad business model and you're not adapting.
Yeah, the creativity's gone for late night comedy, right? Like that's not really a thing anymore.
You got Jimmy Fallon doing a song about different variants.
Instead, it backfired. Trump's truth stung. Kimmel's the worst host ever, and his wife begged him not to do it. Rogan piles on, exposing Kimmel's hypocrisy. The guy who once did blackface on The Man Show now lectures America on morality? That's rich. Rogan compares Kimmel's virtue signaling to a used car salesman hyping a lemon. All talk, no substance. Kimmel's brand is built on bashing Trump, but it's a tired act. His monologues feel like they're written by a Twitter algorithm, recycling the same left-leaning jabs. The audience's pity laughs can't hide the truth.
Remember the Academy Awards? I said how he's the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. And this stupid guy goes up, and just before the Best Picture of the Year, the show is almost over. They're waiting for the Best Picture of the Year. He gets up and he says, and his wife said, please don't do it. Please, darling, don't go out. His manager said, don't do it. I have to do it. He goes out and reads my truth to the entire audience right before the prime time, the Best Picture. And it said basically, he is the worst host of the history. He reads the whole thing. And then I think he said something like, ha, 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 he thinks he bothers me, or some crap like that. I said, he's one of the dumbest human beings ever. He should have listened to his wife. What a dope.
Nobody's buying it. Late night TV's dying because hosts like Kimmel traded jokes for sermons. Trump points out the obvious. Kimmel's not a comedian. He's a Hollywood lapdog, pandering to elites while pretending he's edgy. Rogan doubles down, saying Kimmel's moralizing is as impactful as a bumper sticker. It's not changing. Minds, it's just noise. The real kicker? Kimmel's not alone. Fallon's in the same boat, singing about COVID variants while his ratings flatline. Late night's a relic.
I just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent. See if you can guess which former...
Stuck in an era when people had no choice but to watch. Now, with streaming and podcasts like Rogan's pulling millions, Kimmel's studio feels like a ghost town. Trump and Rogan aren't just roasting him. They're burying an outdated format. Kimmel's clinging to a sinking ship, and Hollywood's applause signs can't save him. This isn't a comeback story. It's an obituary for a career that forgot how to be funny. Jimmy Kimmel's late-night empire is crumbling faster than a stale cookie, and Donald Trump with Joe Rogan are serving the knockout blows. Their roast isn't just a takedown, it's a public autopsy of Kimmel's fading relevance. Trump's swinging with his signature sledgehammer, calling Kimmel a talentless relic who's turned late-night TV into a political soapbox. Rogan's sharper, slicing through Kimmel's fake authentic...
It's a good joke. Funny thing to say. He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He's in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And, and I think also, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had apologized for them, and I think he took that hit and really doubled.
Like a hot knife through butter. Together, they're exposing a truth Hollywood can't ignore. Kimmel's not funny anymore. He's a prop for a dying format. Kimmel's monologues are a snooze, delivered with the enthusiasm of a DMV clerk. His writers churn out recycled jabs, but the audience's forced claps can't hide the awkward silence. A 2025 Variety report shows Kimmel's ratings down 35% since 2020, trailing behind reruns of The Masked Singer. Trump's brutal, Kimmel's a doofus who'd be outdone by any rando on the street. Rogan agrees, saying Kimmel's comedy feels like it's scripted by a Reddit thread chasing retweets, not laughs. The Oscars fiasco sealed Kimmel's fate. Reading Trump's savage review live on air, calling him the worst host ever, was meant to be a flex. It wasn't. Trump turned it into a viral gut punch, saying Kimmel's so dumb he ignored his wife's advice to skip it. Rogan piles on, torching Kimmel's sanctimonious act.
Well, also, I don't think that conversation is a conversation that should be held in front of an audience in 5-minute chunks, like they do on television.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that you have to let air out. I want to know why you think the way you think. Him, sit down with Jimmy. Why do you think the way you think? Why would you think that it's okay to say that it's a real simple thing? The people that have been vaccinated, you treat them. And the people that took horse goo, rest in peace, Wheezy. Really? Is that really how you feel? Like people that are sick from a disease that was funded by our own tax dollars? That's how you feel like? Those people should just die because they don't trust the government or they don't trust the pharmaceutical industrial complex that's been responsible for lying so many times. They're literally...
This is the guy who did blackface skits, now preaching like he's the Dalai Lama of late night. Rogan calls it what it is: hypocrisy dressed up as humor, as convincing, as a knockoff Rolex. Kimmel's obsession with bashing Trump isn't a strategy. It's a crutch. His shows become a one-note echo chamber, pandering to Hollywood's elite while alienating half the country. Trump nails it. Kimmel's not entertaining. He's auditioning for a TED Talk nobody asked for. Rogan's take is even harsher. Kimmel's moralizing is as impactful as a bumper sticker on a rusted minivan. Late-night TV's bleeding viewers because hosts like Kimmel and Fallon traded jokes for lectures. Meanwhile, Rogan's podcast pulls 11 million listeners an episode, per Edison Research 2025. That's not competition. It's a slaughter.
You know, they want to shut me down on being on McAfee. They want to shut me up from...
Well, that was the Kimmel thing, right?
Well, no.
Did you ever talk to that dude? Have you ever talked to him?
I've been on the show years ago, yeah.
Would you ever have a conversation with him in person?
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, they wanted me to be on a show in the summertime after I got traded.
Really?
There, obviously been some things that he had said about me that made me go, I don't know if I want to do that. I'd rather, maybe have a side conversation.
Late night TV into the grave. Rogan's ruthless, shredding Kimmel's fake moral armor with surgical precision. Together, they've turned Kimmel into a cautionary tale, a comedian who traded laughs for lectures and paid the price. Hollywood's applause signs can't save him now. Kimmel's monologues are a masterclass in mediocrity, delivered with the energy of a bored substitute teacher. His audience, cued by warm-up guys and flashing signs, claps like trained robots. It's not comedy. It's a sad pantomime. A 2025 Nielsen report shows Kimmel's ratings down 45% since 2018, outdone by infomercials. Trump's savage, Kimmel's a loser who'd be outshined by a street busker. Rogan's worse, saying Kimmel's jokes feel like they're ripped from a stale TikTok algorithm, chasing trends, not humor. The Oscars were Kimmel's breaking point. Reading Trump's brutal review live, branding him the worst host ever, was meant to be a bold clapback. It flopped hard. Trump spun it into a viral knockout, mocking Kimmel's dumb choice to ignore his wife's advice. Rogan piles on, torching Kimmel's hypocrisy. The guy who did blackface skits now plays Hollywood's conscience. Rogan compares it to a shady car dealer preaching ethics while selling a wrecked sedan. It's not just unfunny, it's embarrassing. Kimmel's anti-Trump shtick isn't clever. It's a crutch for a failing brand. His show's an echo chamber, pandering to Hollywood elites while half the country tunes out. Trump calls him a corporate puppet, delivering predictable jabs to keep his bosses happy. Rogan's take cuts deeper. Kimmel's moral rants are as impactful as a motivational poster in a gas station. Late night's dying because hosts like Kimmel and Fallon swapped wit for woke sermons. Meanwhile, Rogan's podcast pulls 13 million listeners per episode, per 2025 Edison Research, burying Kimmel's fading stage. That's not a roast, it's a reckoning. Hollywood's fake claps can't hide the truth. Kimmel's smugness, once his charm, now screams desperation. Trump paints him as a sellout, cozying up to the machine he pretends to challenge. Rogan calls him a comedy fossil, propped up by a network too spineless to cut him loose. Late nights. Irrelevant in a world of streaming and raw voices like Rogan's. Kimmel's not just losing, he's lost. Want to see what real entertainment looks like? Ditch the late night snooze fest and check out Rogan's latest podcast episode or Trump's Truth Social for unfiltered takes that actually land. Don't settle for Kimmel's recycled rants. Tune into the voices reshaping the game. Subscribe, stream, and join the conversation now.